Falcons once again. Mike Garafolo, Judy Batista, Ian Rapoport. I am Tom Pelissero. Mike, we talked earlier about some of the teams with quarterback needs into this offseason. What do the Raiders do with that?
Yeah, let's talk about the Raiders because you got a new regime there from top to bottom in that organization, and they're going to have to make some decisions at the quarterback position. I said decisions. Are you looking for a blueprint? Look at the last time that Pete Carroll joined an organization. The Seahawks traded for Charlie Whitehurst. They signed Matt Flynn, and then they drafted Russell Wilson, and they weren't afraid to start Wilson, who was a third-round pick. General Manager John Spytek mentioned the day that he was introduced, you're seeing that right there, that he's on board with that approach. So expect the Raiders to make multiple plays to fill the quarterback position, and then again, not be afraid to start whoever winds up being the best player for them at the position. Then there's Max Crosby on the other side of the ball. He's in the mid-20s when it comes to millions per season that he's paid. You guys wrote a story for NFL.com. There's going to be a shift in the pass rusher market. You talked about his future being up in the air. I agree with that. Max Crosby, you would wonder if he doesn't get a new deal from the Raiders, where after seeing some of the deals that these other pass rushers are going to get, could he then push for a trade? There hasn't been a trade request at this point, but you have to wonder if he thinks he's going to be a cornerstone part of this franchise or maybe a trade chip for them. We'll see how that all plays out for the Raiders.
Someone who has made a trade request, Myles Garrett, started out this week, guys, with the news that Myles Garrett wants to be traded from the Cleveland Browns, something the Cleveland Browns have said. General Manager Andrew Berry has been very clear about. They do not intend to trade their star pass rush. You mentioned the salary part of the Max Crosby situation. That's not really a part of this. Myles Garrett's going to get paid no matter what. Going to be the highest paid defensive player likely no matter what, either by the Browns or someone else. Teams no doubt are going to be calling. If the Browns do come off this, expect a huge, huge bounty of picks, potentially 2 number ones if they do end up trading Myles Garrett. Speaking of trades, my understanding is the San Francisco 49ers are expected to explore a trade for star receiver Deebo Samuel. His status certainly has been on again, off again with the 49ers. He's been a little frustrated with his role. They have drafted at the receiver position and locked up Brandon Ayuk. Do not be surprised if he's on the move.
Might not be the only movement for NFC West receivers, Ian, because Cooper Kupp announced Monday night during the Insiders that the Rams are beginning trade talks immediately to find a new home for Kupp. Now, this is something, though, that might take a little bit longer than people realize. The key checkpoint is March 16th. That's when Kupp has a $7.5 million roster bonus due. $5 million of that is already fully guaranteed. Well, if the Rams feel like they have a market, they likely are just going to pick up that entire bonus, help them get better value in a trade. If the market just isn't there, then they would probably cut Kupp prior to March 16th, and that $5 million would be easily offset by what he makes from another team. Stay tuned on that one. As for the Dolphins, they do not plan to trade their star wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, despite, let's call it an uncomfortable ending to last season where he pulled himself out of the season finale, then said that I am done in Miami. The sides have spoken since. We heard Tyreek Hill making the rounds on Radio Row this week saying now, I want to be in Miami. It's early. It's always possible somebody makes the type of offer they can't refuse, Judy, but it sounds like right now everything tracking toward the Cheetahs staying on South Beach.
Well, the rhetoric surrounding a possible 18-game regular season really heated up this week when the head of the Players Union, sorry, I forgot his name. Lloyd Howell, said for the first time publicly that no players want to play an 18-game season. Now, no formal negotiations have begun. There's been plenty of talk behind the scenes. Howell did allow that there could be negotiating terms that would sway players. Certainly roster expansion could be one thing, improved benefits, obviously a bigger slice of the revenue pie. As for the timeline we're talking about here, a person familiar with the league's thinking says, look at 2 years from now, the end of the 2026 season. That would be the midpoint of the current collective bargaining agreement. They said that would be a good time to have a deal in place, and then they could decide going forward when to start the 18-game regular season. So we're still likely a few years away from 18 games.
The game will be played inside, but the insiders are outside. The sun beaming down. Continue to watch us melt for hours to come here.
Of being disliked or considered the villain for Patrick Mahomes, who was asked directly about this subject matter on media night.
You know, I don't even think it's embracing being the villains. We embrace who we are, and we believe we play the game the right way. We believe that we play with a lot of heart and a lot of passion for the game, and then we win football games. And if winning football games makes you a villain, we're going to keep going out there and doing it.
Time for What's Your Beef, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky.
Yeah.
All right, we got some beef up here.
Yeah.
Kyle,
Yeah.
Gerald. There's some real tired storylines floating around right now in the NFL, and we've been forced to talk about them for 2 weeks, and it will end today, thank God, thankfully, mercifully. But Gerald, what's yours?
You know, you don't ever want to get greatness fatigue.
Okay.
So I don't have greatness fatigue.
Okay.
I have fatigue of talking about greatness at one particular position.
Which one's that, Gerald?
I was a defensive tackle. I don't know if you knew.
Yeah.
I am sick and tired of talking about Jalen Carter and Chris Jones. Who's going to be more dominant? Who should do more? Even in the B block of this show, we talked about Chris Jones and Jalen Carter. I love you guys. You guys are wonderful, but I'm sick and tired of comparing Chris Jones and Jalen Carter for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Gerald, you're a D tackle. You know about D tackle plays.
Yes.
Which one would you? You know what? I'm a football analyst. I can talk quarterbacks. I can talk running backs. I can talk defense. I can talk offense coaches.
That's so nice. That's
Rich,
exactly
hug it
what
out.
I needed.
I needed that.
Sick of it, Rich.
I needed
This
that.
is support. This is actually a support group. Welcome to
I'm
your
sorry.
therapy session.
Thank you, Rich.
Do I go next?
You do.
All right.
What do you got?
America, I don't care that it's Saquon Barkley's birthday.
No.
I don't care that it's Cooper DeJean's birthday. You know what's funny, Colin? You know Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, of
It's his
course.
birthday, too. I don't care about adult birthdays whatsoever. If you're celebrating your birthday and talking about your birthday, you are at a roller rink with your other 12-year-old friends. There's a Dunder Mifflin signing the card factor to all of it that I find so obnoxious, and I would pray that Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady don't have to call Saquon the birthday boy if he scores. Colleen, I love working with you. You're one of my favorites. I have no idea when your birthday is. When's your birthday?
January
I don't
2nd.
care.
It's the worst
She's an
birthday of the entire year. Nobody wants to be born on January 2nd. Why do you hate fun, Kyle?
I love
Why
fun.
do you
I love
hate
fun for
celebrations?
kids.
Why do you hate parties?
After 21, the ones that end in 0, the only birthdays that count. Someone's celebrating their 43rd birthday. No one cares. They're pretending to care. What's bothering you, Colin?
I mean, you're really fired up about this. Are you
adult
okay
birthdays.
with your
No, I'm
birthday?
actually
Like,
not. It's
did
gonna be all
something
over the
terrible
broadcast.
happen on your birthday?
They forgot my birthday. They did. When I was
There we
6,
go.
I was at
We
the
got to
bowling
the
alley
bottom
by
of it.
myself, Dad.
Oh, no. All right, so listen, we came into this segment with my beef. I'm so tired of talking about whether or not the Chiefs are the villain. Stop. We need to stop. They're not an
let's cut
unlikable
that out.
team. It's not like, remember how exhausted we were about talking about the Patriots and Tom Brady? They were villains. They were villain-esque. Even their logo kind of looked like a villain, like a super villain.
A little sinister, that
yeah,
logo, that
exactly.
Patriot.
And they just had that aura about them. The Kansas City Chiefs, you can't make them a villain just because they keep winning. They have really likable players, and they're fun, and they talk to
Andy
the media.
Reid is very lovable.
Exactly.
Football Santa Claus. I
Very
mean,
lovable.
Reid.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to stop trying to make fetch a thing because it's not going to happen. I mean, maybe eventually
I
if
don't
the
know if y'all
players of
caught
Andy
that
Reid
reference.
become like ornery at some
Yes.
point, but no, it's
My
not now.
takeaway, Colleen, is that you hate patriots who founded this great country. Was that your takeaway?
My birthday is January 2nd.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're going to celebrate it at some
It's
point.
a huge party,
okay?
yes.
Yeah, I can't wait.
wait to sign
I
the
can't
card.
wait. Oh, Kyle, you're such a great friend.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Vòng hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là cây ngô. Các bạn đi vòng của mình sẽ là bắp ngô. Bây giờ mình sẽ bắt đầu làm nhé. Đầu tiên nhé, làm màu hồng nhé.